right.
Get a little. All right, cool. Right, so should we get started?
Yeah, do you want to introduce?
All right, cool. Yo, welcome back to the Blended Views podcast. I'm your host Jordan. I'm here with co-host Fred.
Hello.
Fred would like to introduce this. We've got an exciting episode today.
So yeah, I thought I'd touch on some subject that is a lot of people know about, but there's also a lot of myths surrounding it, and we're just gonna do an episode to kind of make people more aware and really us more aware of it.
Yeah.
And that topic is autism. And today we have a special guest with us, Daniel Aboudy, or Aboudy as he just goes by a lot of the time, who's actually a representative of that sort of community, I guess, of people. And so Aboudy, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
That's right, mate.
problem,
Really appreciate you coming on, mate. Honestly,
it's a nice sunny day.
Yeah.
And we're
down
gonna
in
talk
Brighton.
Absolutely. And the great place to be right now.
Definitely,
and,
mate.
We're going to talk about some good subjects, man. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
100%.
It's an honour having you on, mate.
Yeah,
you're our
appreciate
first
it.
guest, so
Really,
yeah.
that's big.
Yeah.
Debuting,
Lots of
mate.
love,
Yeah.
lots of love. Absolutely, I'm glad to be the first.
Yeah,
It's always a good time.
yeah.
It's my first ever podcast as well. So
Really?
yeah, I've never
Yeah?
really been involved. I've dreamed of being involved
man.
in stuff like this.
Yeah,
so.
man.
It's just
Yeah, it's a good time.
just have a little conversation. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I'm looking forward to it.
I think me and Fred spoke about this before, but it's one of those nice things where people can just kind of sit down. There's no stress.
Absolutely.
Just,
No
just
rehearsals, just
No.
come and have a chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, right. So Fred, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so obviously you're not, like I said before, you're not shy away to say to people that you are autistic.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
with me, there's like a whole explanation that I have to give because it's
Yeah.
just not. So let's start from the top.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start from the top.
So what is autism? If you want to start
Autism
from there.
Yeah.
is a
For people that don't know.
condition where your brain processes information in a completely different way to everybody
Sure.
else. So there's ways to distinguish because this is like I'm gonna myth bust right now.
Yeah,
So-
that's what exactly
I'm
what we
basically-
wanted
Yeah,
to
no
cover.
worries at all.
Yeah.
So
Let me pull this round.
yeah, do it.
Sorry, mate. I've realised it's facing the wrong way.
That's all right.
There we are, and then that'll be facing you.
We all
sweet.
good?
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazing. So there's three, I guess, categories that we need to focus on.
Yeah.
So category one is autism.
Yeah.
And that diagnosis is really, really particular. Like it's really specific. You can't, if you have autism, chances are it's really severe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of, I don't know, I guess speech impediment might be the right word. Maybe some lack of social skill.
Yeah, there's the whole stereotype is there's like a lack of empathy, lack of emotion.
Yeah,
which
I'll touch on that.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
touch on
100%,
that.
yeah.
I'll touch on that. That's symptoms of it, definitely.
Yeah.
But autism in itself is quite intense. And I have friends who are autistic, and I don't feel like I'm on the same level as they are.
Yeah, I was going to say because you're very confident, you're very outgoing,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
kind of breaks the mold of these stereotypes.
Absolutely.
And so the fact, like, because I know, I mean, I even thought this, like when you said to me that I'm autistic, my initial thought was like, oh, okay, well, but I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And the fact that you have
Yeah.
to explain that to like almost everyone you knew that you meet, like a lot of the time.
So
It's crazy.
with autism, there's a spectrum, isn't there? And it's and you can get different levels of severity.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know how to feel on the phrase everyone's on the spectrum because
Okay.
I don't really know.
Okay.
But I'm not offended by it, not at all.
No, of
No,
course.
but I just don't know what that phrase really means.
What it means, yeah, right,
But
okay.
what I can explain is this. So I don't specifically have autism, okay?
Okay.
Right.
I have autistic spectrum disorder.
I
Okay.
see.
So now when we throw back in the phrase everyone's on the spectrum, it kind of works to that theory because so I'm basically on the spectrum, but it's not right.
Right.
If we literally define what a disorder is, something
Yeah.
that isn't quite right, okay? So that's supposedly, it's classified as not the same as having autism. It's
Okay.
a completely different type of thing. I think what it is probably leaves me more room to grow, and I'm probably milder, which I in fact not probably, definitely am milder than the rest of those that might have more severe autism. So
Right.
I'd have what you'd consider mild autism or autistic spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's definitely what I have.
Okay.
But we also have to bring in Asperger's syndrome. Okay?
Yes.
Is that what people get sort of? That's where all those.
This is the biggest. Yeah, these are the
from,
biggest myths now. So you got these three categories. You got autism, autistic spectrum disorder, and Asperger's.
Yeah.
Now Asperger's is a completely different thing because the main, I guess, hindrance to it is social skill. So people who have Asperger's really find it difficult to socialize, to go out of their house, to do anything in public or with big crowds.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just a fear
Yeah,
almost
it gets
in
too
itself.
intense,
Yeah, it's just an huge
yeah.
intensity that they can't cope with.
It's all right, mate. I'm just checking that.
Yeah, cool.
Don't look round when I'm looking over there. I'm just checking that it's all. Yeah, carry on.
Carry on.
It's all good. It's all good. So, I was diagnosed, I think, either between when I was born or when I was 2. I can't remember.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, all of these stories
Right.
are kind of juggled in my mind, but that's what I know. So
And
diagnosis-
what drew your parents to have that testing? Was there anything which was
So my
Any
parents,
signs, yeah.
yeah, my parents. Okay, my mum is English, and my dad is Israeli and Iraqi. Now these are relevant because the culture is completely different.
Definitely.
So I think on my dad's side, he's the type to not believe in these things. He's from a different generation, different time.
Okay.
The mental health, all these sorts of modern day concerns and affairs that we deal with aren't for that generation.
Yeah.
Right?
I see, yeah.
And also that culture. Whereas my mum's English,
it's different cultural education,
different backgrounds,
and
different beliefs. It's all sorts. But my mum was really the one that noticed, and she was the one that got the diagnosis. It was all her.
Big up your mum.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was too young to really react at that time. And my dad didn't really know. I don't think it really affected my dad at all because he raised me well as well. And growing up, now this is a debate that I have with my mum. It's a lifetime debate. I never really know the truth because I think I'm just too young to know. But
I'm interested now.
So I wasn't able to speak. I think, I was definitely able to speak at the ages of 1 or 2 because I could see videos of my birthdays that I've had. We just got a collection of them recently.
Yeah.
So I've reviewed my past and it's quite nice to see. But what she really means is that by the ages of 4 or 5, between 4 and 6, I didn't construct sentences properly.
Right.
And I was repeating a lot of words. And that's kind of a natural thing. So I studied in English language and I learned that between the ages of 1 and 2, that's when you're really starting to form your sentences.
Yeah,
normally,
definitely.
for an average child, you're starting to really speak. Whereas for me, it didn't happen so easily like that. I was repeating a lot of words and, maybe just hearing phrases and just repeating them back and kind of understanding things, but it wouldn't channel across completely.
Okay.
So because of that, I had to have speech therapy.
Right.
And
right.
yeah, so
I've actually had
have you had speech therapy?
Yeah.
What for?
I couldn't say my S's correctly.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Was it a lisp or was it just pronunciation?
It's just pronunciation, really.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
Gotta correct it.
There we go. But it's my S's. So I did that between I was about 7 and 9. I started.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
But that's good that you kind of noticed that.
Yeah.
And you learnt in a way to deal with it.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like your parents can pick up on these things massively. Yeah. They're the ones that are teaching you. They're the one that are nurturing you. And,
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then let's say we skip a few years, and I'm fine. Like my childhood was great. I had a fair amount of friends in primary school. I've always had my closest boys since nursery. Always been social. I've never had a problem with social interaction.
Because there's the 3 stages of autism, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's social interaction.
Kind of emotional, empathetic.
I've got it a little noted down.
Man.
Communication and your range of interests.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of I can't remember where because I did a little bit of research as well. A lot of people are like more lean towards Asperger's. Their interests tend to be quite conservative in the sense that if they grew up like loving Spider-Man, for instance, then into adolescent and adulthood, they would still like absolutely love Spider-Man. Like,
there's nothing that it could be that could take that away.
I know that's a bit of a weird example, but it's routine and kind of
absolutely.
Yeah, routine's a big thing.
It's almost like they don't really like stepping outside their comfort zone.
No,
if that makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and I had kind of not similar situations, but there were specific things I liked, and there was things that I wouldn't like when it comes to maybe general interests like superheroes and whatever kind of media or content there is out there.
Yeah.
But I'd say I don't know if it directly had to do with that, or maybe I was just a fussy child.
Right.
But I used to not eat that much. Like I used to not really.
That's quite common.
Eating
disorders
that,
kind of a thing that kind of
not like
goes
not
hand in hand with
eating,
it,
but like
selective.
I wouldn't eat. Yes, very selective foods, fried foods, junk foods. Like vegetables was even a struggle. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. I think like I've read that quite a bit actually with my actual little sister's getting tested for Asperger's. And,
interesting.
Yeah. At the moment, just because there's a few things which we're picking up with her as well.
Yeah.
For an example, it's really like hard to get her to like stay in her bed at night and sleep.
Yeah.
It's like a serious. It's like constant throughout the night. I know with children there's senses where you're. I think to an extent everybody's scared of the dark, and I think that's amplified when you're a kid.
Absolutely.
But I think it's to an extent where it's less scared of the dark. It's more like throughout the night, like it will be like checking that everybody's still there and checking that people are still alive and stuff like that. And it's like a level of like, I don't know, I can feel like that's like showing early signs. Not just that, there's other things like what you were saying, very selective of her food as well. And when
you say she's quite like certain subjects at school, she's like mentally like a year or so behind.
Couple of years behind,
that's interesting.
But no, exactly what you're saying. It's interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. On the you kind of like reminded me about my entire childhood.
Right.
There, so
cool.
This is good. The sleeping situation, right?
Right.
I used to sleep with the light on.
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay.
Like early childhood, definitely slept with the light on. Mum and dad had to have like one of them wait for me until I sleep at certain times of night. Just that was definitely what it was like.
Yeah.
And
I'm assuming that would be like a because there's the fear of the unknown there, but I think with like with the early symptoms, it's kind of like you struggle. It's like that not obsessive thing, but getting like something in your head, like what you were saying about liking the certain superheroes and stuff. Like it's like getting that kind of. I don't know how to explain it, but kind of an obsession, not obsession, but playing something in your mind constant.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely. That's definitely a huge part of it as well, and that even goes for music. Like I'm the type of person who will have a track that I really like, and I'll spin it on repeat like 50 times till I get sick of it. Do you know what I mean? That's definitely a cause of that. Like that's. You just kind of get obsessed with something for a while, and if you really like something, you get into it.
That's it. Yeah. I feel like my little sister's exactly the same.
No, it's a good thing that you're noticing these things.
Yeah, I'm noticing.
No, it's good that you can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also the other kind of thing that even though some people may see autism to kind of hinder certain things about your brain or like how you perceive things or articulate things, there's also the sign that it's also a blessing. Because certain people, like particularly people who are really on the spectrum, will have or like almost like super intelligent or like super like good at like certain creativity, like art, for instance. Like I know there's a few cases where you show like a photo of like anything, like like a landscape, like cliffs or the sea or something, and then they look at it for like 5 seconds, and then they can draw it recreate it. And it's the same with like a lot of other like music as well. Like they'll be able to like study and understand like all the like stuff that like will go beyond people's brain, but it just clicks with them.
Yeah.
And maths as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing that like
Maths is a big thing for me.
Is
yeah.
it?
Were you really good at it at
No,
school?
I was really bad.
Oh, really?
And it's either one or the other, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's so 50-50 when it comes to maths. I love numbers, but I'm not good with them.
Right,
and I don't like
okay.
and I don't like more intense maths. So we're talking geometry, shapes, all this intense. Like I used to be able to do equations and brackets really well and stuff like that, but maths just goes over my head.
Mate,
so
you and me both.
yeah,
I'm so shit at maths.
You never could get it, did you? It
never
just
got my
wasn't one thing that
GCSE.
ever went wrong with you, bro.
I've graduated with a degree and I've got jobs.
That's
so
the most important
is
part.
it? I mean,
we're graduates. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it, mate. That's like there's no other thing. No one can take that away
Yeah,
from us.
no.
Yeah.
We've had so many achievements. Like, you
But
know,
mate, this is the thing. Like it's the first time I've met you. Obviously,
Yeah.
It's evident that you're a very clever guy, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
you're pretty
and,
switched
I
on.
think
You've got a
what
law
Fred-
degree.
And that's
Yeah.
crazy,
That's it,
mate.
that's-
Fred
that's
told me.
happened.
Fred told me that, and I was like, mate, that's crazy. Like, so I think like whether that stereotypes are there, that obviously it can impact your learning. You've obviously done really well for
Yeah.
yourself, mate. You should be really
But,
proud.
you know,
of that,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. And I always appreciate. I'm always grateful for how the support I've had in all my
Yeah.
life, in all my education, because
Yeah.
I always grew up having a teaching assistant or
Yeah.
a counsellor or someone to share my feelings with
You just
all
Yeah.
the
have
time.
that some sort of support worker, whatever
Absolutely.
category you
Yeah.
put it in.
I'm
is always
telling you
there,
now,
yeah.
I would not have survived without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In life,
Yeah.
genuinely,
Yeah.
I would have not. I needed it. It was
Yeah.
like I need constant therapy.
Was that
And-
like the DLA? Is that the right term? 'Cause is that coming into that?
DSA? No,
DSA.
wait, no. I'm trying to think. DLA is disability living allowance. So just so you know,
right.
That's one thing.
There's the disability, because I have dyslexia. I don't know if it falls into the same. It obviously wouldn't fall into this. Maybe the same category. I mean, do you know like the disability kind of like the help that you get from the government?
yeah.
In studying and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
like,
absolutely. That's that giving support to all conditions and all
Yeah.
those who
Did
struggle.
you have it
So
throughout
we've-
uni as well? Oh, sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. Go on, crack on.
Oh, did you have it throughout uni?
Yeah,
as well?
no. All throughout school, all throughout uni, I had all the support that I could ever need. Like we had,
Yeah.
special educational needs departments
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So I always would go there and I would do some extra work and try and, because there's a lot of questions and homeworks and projects and exams and whatever. There's just some things that I just didn't understand. I couldn't
Yeah.
really, I'd maybe not read the question correctly or misread the question or not understand what the question's asking.
mate. I'm just checking.
Stop
Stop looking
getting
around.
paranoid now.
I'm just
I keep
checking.
thinking it's going to crash or
checking.
something.
No, it's fine.
No, it's all good. I just had all kinds of things that it was a struggle to understand. Sometimes I just
definitely.
couldn't really understand what the question was asking me, so I'd always need someone to show me the way.
Yeah.
So did you have like a little was it like a scribe or just like was it like everything kind of like?
No, like
in a sense.
I'll toot my own horn here. I'm sick at handwriting, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
on lock. I've got sick typing speed over
Yeah.
like 65. I forgot what the unit is, but
I know.
Yeah,
That's fucking mad.
Yeah, you gotta have that. But no, they were just, again, it was my biggest difficulty is if you were to classify it generally, it would be learning difficulties and information processing.
Okay.
So that's what I needed help with always in my life. Social was never a problem, but I over time silently developed social cues.
Yeah.
So there are some people who have autism or autistic spectrum disorder or Asperger's that don't have correct social cues. Okay. And when I say correct, it's a really harsh word, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's about judging the situation, knowing the room you're in.
Right. Yeah.
Assessing the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And mine are milder than the average. So for example, an issue I have is loudness, projection of my voice.
Okay.
Like I've got a really deep, bellowy voice, got lots of volume,
No, yeah.
really loud.
It's a good thing, mate. I think that's a
for this,
blessing.
yeah.
in many
People
ways,
tell me
yeah.
to shut up a lot, and it's kind of funny. But at the same time, I do have to be considerate, and I'm trying. I'm really trying.
yeah.
But I don't want to blame it on my disorder. You know, I don't want to, see, this is the excuse, this is the reason.
Of
Yeah.
course,
But
mate.
for that makes it harder.
Yeah,
that
of
makes
cour-
it
of
harder.
course, mate. Of course.
That's kind of brings me on to the next, sort of question, or at least sort of subtopic I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I knew someone at uni who I think was in the same sort of boat as you. Like, he was autistic, but it was autistic spectrum. Spectrum disorder, where he like you, he was very, very outgoing. He was really confident. He was a really, really nice lad, and a lot of the time you would not think that he would be in that boat.
Yeah.
But he actually had a little card with him that he brought around that says like something like, "Be patient. Please be patient with me. I'm autistic." I'm paraphrasing right now, but it was something along the lines.
Yeah, it would be
And
about.
it's
right,
almost
right.
like literally his like card, like it say if like you said, if it's certain social cues he couldn't quite understand, and say if like, that the average person was like, what, like getting bit maybe frustrated or confused, he just like, if he doesn't understand, he used this little card to kind of help him almost like
That's so
identify with
interesting.
people. And I was just wanting to know, like, I mean, I've known you for a little while now,
Yeah.
but I've never kind of seen you mention anything about it. I was wondering, do you have some sort of thing like that?
No, I mean, I was literally going to say, does that work for him? Like,
Yeah.
I've never used one.
Yeah.
Never.
Was it what sort of degree of like, could you like, what sort of level? Because you don't. I would never be able to tell those things.
This is the topic I wanted to get
And
at.
it's like those different things that you would click on to that you would associate with autism.
Yeah, because I feel like
disorder.
a lot of people tend to tiptoe around people as soon as they hear like, if they say, I'm autistic, or they're kind of a bit careful that this is a way like some bad prejudice can sort of happen. Like,
absolutely.
what if I say the wrong thing? Is he gonna like have a
But
breakdown
you're
whatnot?
fucking smashing it though, mate. From
Yeah.
what I hear.
Yeah,
So
man.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, mate. You're obviously adapting, mate, and you're fucking.
It's nice, I call me well trained. That's
Yeah.
what I'd say. I'm obedient. How about that? No,
I'd like to like take you back then. I mean, did you get the answer you wanted? Sorry.
Oh,
the answer was no. I don't have a specific card that says "Be patient." I'm autistic.
some sort of identification.
To be fair, it's like, obviously it's the equivalent of a blue badge, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is like a big topic that I'm going to come on. I just kind of want to touch on it for this moment, but
Yeah.
I don't tend to mention it unless I'm close with the person or I'm in a situation like this.
Yeah. Right.
Because although it's an interesting thing for people to discover, because I do have that reaction every time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have never told. Like, I could never tell.
Yeah, well.
Absolutely. You just blindsided me. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
And
Like,
how do you feel when people have that kind of reaction?
it's nice.
Yeah.
Because it means that on the surface, people think I'm just like them.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
great feeling. When people discover they don't treat me differently because I've already given them that impression
I
see,
that there's no
right.
need to treat me differently.
Right.
Because I'm just like you.
Yeah,
But
definitely, mate.
another kind of symptom that I have is, and this is a common one, I'd say,
Yeah.
is not always being able to get all the jokes.
Right.
Sometimes you hear banter,
Right.
but you might take it too literally. And I take things too
Right,
literally
right.
sometimes.
Okay.
And that's can be a good thing and a bad thing, but it can also be like a kind of joke killer in a way. So if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like hear something and I kind of know it's a joke, but I can't really tell.
Yeah.
My response might then trigger another response, which is like, "Oh, we're only joking, mate." You know what I mean?
Right, I
And
get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm never usually. I think if you met me 10 years ago, I was way more sensitive than I am now.
Right. Yeah.
Now I've got so much thicker skin, and it's
Right.
like been over time. Like I've been bullied,
Yeah.
but not even for the autism or anything like that. I've just been bullied for things. I feel like
really?
yeah. I feel like I don't know why, but it all to me, and this sounds so narcissistic, but
But mate,
I think
go ahead.
Come in.
I think it comes down to jealousy.
Right.
Because when I was younger, I used to participate in and I used to star in a lot of like school plays, and
Okay.
I'd be really keen into performing and
Yeah.
talking to people and just being out there. And I think a lot of people saw that I was maybe too out there.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it.
Maybe that relates to what you were saying earlier about your voice.
Yeah.
Usually the person that's in the room that has the most confidence, has the loudest voice, you'll always get some cunt down the road like fucking wanting to have a pop at you. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where you get all the fucking like dickheads in the pubs.
Absolutely. Go on.
I was going to say, like, you are a performer, like, and you're a rapper, you're an MC, you do music, and I've seen you perform before, and you literally get up on the stage and just go at it, and you literally don't give a fuck what anyone says.
It's just because I don't give a fuck.
And for that reason, I find that sick, because I could never do that, even if I was drunk as fuck. I could never get on stage.
But you've got on stage and you've done your thing.
Yeah.
So then you should see that you have a slight bit of more confidence than someone else who couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because even if you're a silent partner, your contribution is more than enough. Like you're literally a part of the music. Without you, it wouldn't sound good.
You've nailed that, mate.
Yeah.
So
mate, you've got bars.
Yeah, you know, mate. Of course,
absolutely. We've recorded together.
Knowledge.
If people want to find you anywhere, mate, what's your name then?
For my music.
You go by? Yeah.
So I'll explain the situation.
So, should we drop that at the end? Should we talk
about
that at the end?
We'll
plug it in.
Good idea.
Right. So if you're this part, stick to the end then, so you can check out that
absolutely
bits. But,
worth that. I'll plug all my stuff.
But carry on anyways, mate. So you're talking about like, so you've been bullied because you fucking these jealous pricks.
Yeah, people jealous. And you know what? I'll tell you something funny. So a lot of this happened a lot more in primary school, and then secondary school was a little bit, but it wasn't awful. Like it was primary school.
So I was gonna ask if we could backtrack and then if we could build up, like,
absolutely.
See if there's anything.
So primary school, what would happen was when I was younger, I had all my friends, and some of the friends that you might know that I'm still friends with today. I'm still friends with them.
Yeah.
One of them is kind of not a bully.
Okay.
Like, it was just, there were some people's parents that didn't like me.
Okay.
Or didn't like, I don't know, maybe my mum or something or other. I don't know what it was. But they would kind of exclude me, not invite me to parties anymore.
Deliberately.
Yeah, I think deliberately. There was a lot of chat going around just about me, like being a bad influence. I also, I didn't mention, I used to be a really badly behaved kid. I used to have a lot of anger issues.
I was gonna ask that actually. Was there?
Yeah, no, all of that. So there was a lot of reasons why I, was probably told to stay away from people's kids. But I don't think I was that bad. I really don't think I was. And I know that there were friends that I did have that valued me no matter what. So it was
they're your true mates.
Yeah, my true mates, and that was it. And but I'd kind of get that.
I think that's where you develop your best mates.
For real. And there's just, we had that kind of sort of issues over those years, but it never really was a truly bad effect. And then when I got into year 7, one of my really close friends now, like literally still my best friend to this day, we decided not to get on. He just didn't, for some reason, stop liking me, didn't want to be my friend anymore. We just didn't talk. He would like kind of bully me a little bit, and I didn't know what to do. And I just kind of decided, well, I'm just going to get some new friends, even though they're like around me all the time. And I even asked to be in a class with him, and and it was sad when that happened, but it was fine because I got new friends and I was over it really. Yeah. But then I started seeing a lot of my these people that I went to primary school with starting not to like me anymore and starting not to get on with me, and I was just like, okay, I can't really be bothered with this. And
it's a waste of your time. Like.
Absolutely. Yeah. And anytime I made some new friends as well, there'd always be one person that didn't want to get on with me. I've had loads of friends, even friends that we have mutually.
Yeah.
We had it on and off spells.
Do you ever do you think because of the disorder that you obviously mildly have, do you think that kind of that like impacts the intensity that you go into with friendships at all?
I used to get really upset about
like small
loss
things.
of friends, small things, anything. Like, I was so sensitive. I was just kind of people made fun of me. I'd get upset about it because I think they'd personally attack me.
Right.
So when I was younger, people used to nickname me Aboudy, right?
Right.
But it's a brilliant nickname, right? You know. But when I was younger, I would kind of got annoyed by it, as you naturally would, because it's repetitive. Yeah,
and if you
that's
get
quite
any,
a common
if you
thing,
get, I mean, any kind of like name calling me, like at the end of the day, like that drains on you.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
and it like fucking can just, like hit on you like daily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
bring you down.
It has an effect.
Yeah,
it really
definitely.
does, and it lowers your confidence and
Definitely.
all sorts of things.
I know there's that, like when I used to go to mates, when I used to go to school, like secondary school, there was like a mate which we were in a group of friends, and I don't want to drop his name, but there was a nickname within our group of like friends at the time, and in the end, it ended up being like, mate, I fucking don't want to be called this anymore, like. Because even
I think I know it
becomes a
I'm not gonna bring it up.
We won't say the name
reputation,
or whatever, but
yeah.
I mean, it was a nickname based around a film, and I think he ended up just being a bit, pissed off about that, and I think even if it can be like classed as banter, like what you were referring to earlier, it can drain on you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets rinsed,
Yeah.
like you don't want to overdo it. I think people are kind of. It depends, obviously, but it also depends on sensitivity level that you have towards that thing.
So what you're saying is, something can be said in a non-malicious way, but just because of how you take it, it can be seen as malicious. Do you
Absolutely,
know what I mean? Like, even if
yeah.
friends are saying it, it can still be like, why the fuck are you saying
Yeah,
that?
no, absolutely. It just rings in your head, and you're just like, just leave me alone with it now. But then, like I said, I when I grew up and I kind of just got over stuff like this, with thanks to my dad, he definitely toughened me up. It's laughable, and I enjoy it. I enjoy everything. I'm right now, from the person that I was, I probably have a bit more of an issue just because I don't actually give a fuck about what anyone says or thinks
it's
about
kind
me.
of
Flipped over
from
his
one
head.
extreme to the other,
completely.
I think that's really good though, mate. That you've like kind of made peace with that.
Yeah,
I think
no,
I've
completely.
said this to Fred before. Like when you have fuckers like that giving you stuff like stick throughout your life, you either resent people forever and you resent that, or you make peace with it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
And if you can continue to stride on and do your thing, this is what rappers chat about all the time. You used to not want to speak to me, and now you're asking me for stuff. It's along those lines. You want to be my friend now. And I do get a lot of that, and it's like, it's hard because I have an issue with opening myself up to people. I think I open myself up to people too much. I think I'm too.
You wear your heart on your sleeve.
Absolutely.
I do to a certain extent as well. I feel like I definitely gain people's trust too easily, which can be seen as a blessing and also a curse at the same time. So I can relate to that in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. It's just you want to be like that. It's just hard.
I think that comes down to the sense of you want to be liked, don't you? Like everybody in life wants to be friends, man. Wants to be liked and wants to have friends. Like, and I think that's what it comes down to. Well, you were saying earlier, like you mentioned that your dad toughened you up. What do you mean?
So basically, I was living with my mum for a while, and then when I was 14. I think it was 14. I went to live with my dad because I hadn't really lived with him for a long period, and I thought it'd be a nice change. It'd be nice to see what life's like there. And growing up, either way, like my dad raised me to eat more vegetables and fruit. Like he would like blindfold feed me and stuff like that. It was like play games with it. It was, he really kind of opened up my palate. Absolutely, got that Middle Eastern flex.
Definitely,
absolutely.
I think you have that little fear of your dad as well. Like not a fear. Like
you know what? My mum says it all the time. Mate, you're kind of right.
Because even like my dad English, but at the same time, I think you have that kind of like fear and respect for your dad, which like for. I'll respect my mum the same, but it's a different kind of thing when you're growing up. It's like, I don't want to piss off my dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you know what? I pissed off my dad today, actually. I'll tell you about it after this. Yeah. It was bad. It was really bad. I just didn't see him coming, but I'll explain later.
All right, carry on, mate. Sorry.
I wanted to kind of go back to the whole kind of, once you've mentioned you're autistic, people would to judge you kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But like, you said before that the reaction is, oh my God, I didn't think you were, but that's after you've given an impression. But in the situation where those roles are almost reversed, so like job interviews or something, you know, when you're filling out the form and obviously you legally have to, well, you don't legally, but you're obliged to disclose these things.
Yeah.
So say if that you've already applied online, you filled out an application that says, and you put like any, you know, disability, disorder, autism. Once that, and then you get into the interview, do you think that's affected your chance of employment?
Could you answer that quickly after you've answered the
toughen up question? Yeah, I will. Absolutely.
You're jumping into a real heavy question.
I was just about to say, you want to talk about job interviews, yeah? Right, bear with me, because that is a juicy, that's the juiciest topic of my life.
Chronologically
I thought that conversation was like
good that you brought it up, because it was going to come up anyway. And we're going to, it's a juicy one. But in terms
because I've got some questions.
Yeah, in terms of the toughening up, right? You know, I'd always.
Sorry, by the way, Fred.
No, of course. I'd always, you know, go up to my dad whenever I was upset about something, and I'd be up, you know, I'd kind of nearly cry, and he'd be like, "Why are you crying about this? Well, you know, who cares? Like, who is this person to you? Like, why do you care about them? Like, what? You know, there's so many opportunities to go and make other friends elsewhere. You're a great, you know, you're a great
why
kid.
Hanging out with this kid?
Why hanging out with this kid? This kid probably not even good for you anyway." And he's right. He was right. You know, absolutely. There's no better advice that you could get than that. And coming from like having anger and upset issues to kind of learning how to judge my friends and go over and you know, I think it was really year 11 and 12, even up to sixth form, that I was at my kind of prime time of developing the not give a fuck attitude.
Right. Okay.
Like, and I noticed that so many more people who were in cliques way before wanted to give me the time of day. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I don't know why you didn't like me before, but let's just start a clean, fresh, clean slate and just start again, and let's see what we have in common, you know?
Yeah.
And since then, like, I've just now always attracted the people to me that, you know, that we just get that vibe from each other, and that's how I have my friends.
The people that actually want to, you know, like, they're not doing it for any other reason than wanting to be mates with you. Like.
Yeah, but the biggest worry I have is having too many friends. And this is what I feel like at the moment. It's like the biggest anxiety in my life. Too many friends, too many people to keep up with.
Yeah.
And I don't intentionally, you know, mean to not answer people's messages or all this stuff. But I just find it hard. It's just like, even looking at my phone gives me anxiety, and I still do it.
Yeah.
So I'm a hypocrite, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
But,
I get like that.
Yeah, you do. You naturally do.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone in the world to know, all my close friends, family, loved ones, everyone, I'm telling you this now, I love you. I don't mean to be a prick, but I can be sometimes.
I think, mate, like, I remember reading something a few years ago where basically, like, when you go into life, you're like a little narrow tunnel in it, and then as you're progressing, your scope of, because you're constantly meeting people throughout life.
Yeah.
If you were to try and, you know, factor in time in your day to speak to every person that you create a connection and bond with, it's impossible, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I totally get that anxiety, mate.
Yeah, it's that's because that's the type of person I am. Again, like, wearing a heart on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Is just, you know, you kind of want me being an artist as well. I want everyone to be my fan.
Yeah.
You know, you know, that's
same thing
kind
for
of
anyone within that kind of.
You want to build that network.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it's so hard to kind of shut people off, and
definitely.
you know, but I do it, and you know, if I lose people, I lose people. I can't. It just hurts when it's really close, obviously. But things are inevitable. Definitely. Things are going to happen, and you have to be prepared, and you have to accept what's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm more ready for that now than I've ever been, because
it's good to hear that, mate.
It's just been a hard adjustment, because you're trying to be everyone's favourite,
especially in uni, mate. Especially in uni.
Yeah, but you know what? In uni, I didn't find it as hard.
Really?
Because in uni, you've got your own group of friends that you make. But I also had friends from like all over. So I chose not to live, because I'm Jewish, right?
Okay.
And I chose not to live with the Jews in uni in Nottingham, because Nottingham's such a heavily Jewish populated uni.
Right.
And it's a great thing. But at the same time, I thought to myself, if I'm away from them, I always have a reason to go back.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a way more comfortable arrangement than me living with them.
Right.
Because there's certain types, there's certain kind of particular friendship groups and cliques and people. They're just from school, and they always stayed together.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a bit too close-minded. Everyone has their own sect, and to branch out is the most important thing you need to do, because it gives you so much more opportunity.
Definitely.
Without that, I wouldn't have met my two best uni friends, at all. It wouldn't have happened. And I'm so fortunate for it. And I had Jewish friends who were making friends with non-Jewish friends, and that we all link up together. So it was kind of really, really nice to have that. And they weren't even course friends. They were just friends that came around, or friends that lived with each other.
You meet just by being at uni.
Absolutely. It was so nice. And I had them. And then you also have to take into account other friends of yours from home who went to uni, and then they make their friends. Right?
Definitely.
So, you've got the ones in Southampton, you've got the ones in, where else do I have friends in uni? I can't even think. Southampton's just a big one. Birmingham's another big one.
Right, So your friends are making friends, like
with
friendship circles, and then it's constantly growing.
Yeah, and absolutely. And it's nice to know that we've integrated some of them so much that it's like they could just become London friends so easily. That's really what would be nice, and to always just see them from time to time. You don't have to speak to them all the time, obviously, because they're more friendly with that person. But, it's just nice to have it there.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's nice, and but the kind of hard thing now is I want to be around for my friends. I want to kind of be with my friends a lot, because they always want to hang out and always want to do something, always want to create. But I get that sense of guilt that I don't spend enough time with my family. And that's such a really hard thing to be dealing with, because you want to give that balanced time. But I'm helping my mum out and dad out with it as much as I can do. There's no, I'm really trying to be good. I'm trying to do so much for them. But
I think as you grow up, I think it's one of those things though, isn't it, where it's you got to find that healthy balance. You're trying to grow as a person, mate, and it's difficult when you're putting. You can't 100% focus on yourself and then have focus elsewhere. That's one thing which I'm coming to terms with as I get a bit older as well. Is I haven't got to see my family as much. In order to have an impact in their life still. I call my family and I keep in contact with them. That's a good thing about social media in a way. One of the only good things about social media, really.
For sure.
But it's coming to grips with the fact that I've got a girlfriend, not very near future, but we're planning on starting our own family and doing these things.
That's good, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying right now, but I'm saying and when that
tomorrow.
Mate, but
baby, let's go.
Let's do it, bro. Fuck it. But what I'm saying is that when you progress like that, that's you may move away from your hometown, you may move away from these places, and then it adds a whole new complexity to your family. Because, do you know what I mean?
For real.
Especially if you've got a little one, mate, and because that's your time and your focus, then it's dedicated.
Drawn right to them.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And at this level of our lives,
mate.
are you
what?
Are you like 23?
22. I'm gonna be 23 at the end of the year.
Yeah. So we're all around that age. I'm 24. Fred's 24. We're all focusing on our careers and stuff at the moment as well. I'm assuming
it's hard to balance like you said, job, social life, and then also your kind of own leisure, stuff like fitness and your own kind of just downtime. It's hard to juggle, and
juggle everything.
Your mates and I mean, I don't have a girlfriend at the moment, but
neither do I.
Touch wood when I do. That's another thing to consider.
That's what I was saying.
But do you feel like that what you were saying in regard to your just. Do you mind me referring to it as a disorder? How would you refer to it? Disability? Yeah, whatever.
I don't care. Say what you want. I'm not PC. Some people are so PC.
But then again, I find that word disorder or disability kind of not demonizes it, but it kind of gives us a sense that it's kind of alienating.
Negative connotation.
That's the word I was looking for.
What's your favourite, preferred?
Yeah. I've been encouraged to look at it more positively, obviously.
I think that,
I don't know what to call it. I don't call it anything. I just call it ASD. Okay. That's what it is.
Okay, right. In relation to your ASD, then, right? Do you feel like with your what you're saying about your friendship and your family and trying to balance that, do you feel like that's maybe some of the not obsessive traits, but you know, like thoughts that you can't struggle to get out of your mind and balance, you know, like,
all the time, everything.
Do you think it's
you
in
know,
relation to that?
I'm sure everyone in the world doesn't either, but I just don't have a normal life.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
It's not as fortunate as I'd like it to be, but it's still fortunate.
Yeah.
You can't have everything. So with all
I don't think anyone in the world will ever have anything.
Absolutely.
Even if they claim they do, there's always
They definitely
that
don't. There's
implies
always,
that
there's something missing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
So you know, you've just got to try and be happy with what you have.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's always been times where I might have had some dark thoughts and you know, but the fact that and this is another symptom as well, is that I always talk to myself.
Okay.
So if you talk to yourself, it's like self-coaching, it's like mental coaching.
Yeah.
You
of course,
can literally just address any way you might feel, and chances are you can get over it. I mean, it depends on how strong your will is.
Walking yourself through things,
absolutely.
like,
By
Some people aren't
talking,
capable.
talking to, is in this speaking out, or thinking out loud, or literally just kind of having a bit of a battle in your
Thinking
brain?
out loud, speaking out loud, or having a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
Talking to yourself in the mirror. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
You just, it's
Prep
not
talk,
even
mate,
vain.
do you know what I mean?
It's prep
Yeah.
talk. It's not
Yeah.
even vain. It's like, you need to get through the day somehow. And the only way to do that is to do this.
So do you find that you doing that quite a bit then to keep yourself kind of focused?
For
and,
sure.
and,
I think I spend too much time looking in the mirror. I think
I
I do.
I mean, that's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
man. I mean, like, it's better to be like that than never.
No, for sure. You know, but it's, and you know what else? I'm an only child.
Right.
So I really
okay.
even feel more alone than anyone because I
Right.
don't have a sibling
Right.
I can
to
imagine.
crash it onto.
I think
You
like a lot of people who are autistic or Asperger's, whatever the category is. It does help that if they have a sibling,
Absolutely.
no matter how, because it's not like a friend you see at school. It's someone you see at home that's not your mum or dad. It's just that person to kind
Someone that will actively care for you.
yeah,
like-
and will
A bit
stick up
closer
for
to
you.
your,
Yeah.
bit
Stick
closer
up
to
for you.
your
Yeah.
age, and it's a bit more support mechanism in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things you don't want to speak about with your parents. You
Yeah.
know,
No.
to an extent. I mean, I'm very open with my mum. I've always had a relationship with my mum where I'm very fortunate in that sense. I'll speak to her. You know, like a lot of people are very shy when they speak about drugs with their parents and stuff. Like, I'm very open with my mum about that. I think I'm very blessed in that sense.
Yeah, same.
But if you've got like family like a traditional like nuclear family that are very difficult to speak, like reach out to your family, like then having that sibling there is a bit difficult. So a bit more makes it a bit easier.
Yeah.
So do you feel like maybe that, like you kind of referring to yourself and speaking to yourself, or not speaking to yourself, but just like giving yourself a bit of running commentary?
No, yeah,
is that
absolutely.
you keeping you focused?
Yeah,
and,
it does. And you know what? I'm
Yeah.
the same. Like I spent a lot of my time in life growing up and talking to my mum about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
My mum would always talk to me about everything. My mum knows a lot about my life.
Yeah.
I've told her some bad stuff. I have.
Yeah.
And
I think it's good.
I don't feel guilty about it because she's like my best friend. Like I
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
good.
I don't.
It's a blessing, man.
Yeah, and it's I don't need to be uncomfortable around her. I
Yeah.
don't need to. You know what I mean? Look, everyone lies to their parents, and I've lied to my parents questionable amounts of times.
I think we all
grave,
have, man, 'cause at the end of the day, like,
things.
you don't want them to worry about you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
everyone has a really grave lie that they've told their parents, like
Yeah.
multiple, and it's kind of for protection, but it also you realise it's a bit stupid, but I make sure that I tell my mum all that's relevant because she loves to know. She lives for knowing it, and it's great to have someone to talk to. With my dad, on the other hand, it's kind of I tell him select things,
Right.
but these days I'm starting to tell my mum a lot less.
Yeah.
Because becoming an adult, like you love your parents, but if they start to know everything now, they're just gonna get insane with it.
Yeah,
like my mum asks
right.
me a lot of questions, and bless her, like she means well.
Yeah.
But I don't have all the answers. You know.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Right.
It's just.
What, do you have an example of that? What
Oh,
is that like just your like where you're at life or in life?
No. I'm trying to think. Like, you know what? I can't reveal too much because it's not fair on it.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't want to say it,
I mean,
I'm just
is it
trying to
more
think
like
about doing it. I'm trying to give an example in a way that I can come across as if I'm media trained.
Yeah.
Let's have a think. It's
good practice for when you get famous, mate.
Absolutely.
When you're spitting
I
bars
would
and that.
say that if I tell her about something
Yeah.
that's like to do with my friends,
Yeah.
or it's like a little bit of gossip,
Right.
and she remembers it well because it's a close friend and that friend knows her.
Right,
So there's
right.
you know, room for her to know, and it's not an issue.
Right.
She'll constantly ask me about the developments of it.
Okay.
And I'll be like, but I don't know.
So
like, why would I
yeah.
know? Why
Yeah.
I was here,
Yeah.
and now I'm out of it. It's not my business anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. You know,
Definitely,
just
mate.
leave me alone with
Mate,
it like that.
yeah,
It's
right.
those kinds of questions.
Right, I get you.
But when it comes to more serious things like job interviews, like my mum will ask me to the finest detail.
Right.
What happened? Like she'll ask, so what did they ask you? What was your response? Like, what did you say?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mum, I can't even remember. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I've done it now. It's over. Just let's see what happens.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just see what
Focusing too much on those things, and I don't want to be like that. I want to do something, drop it, move on to the next, because you can't loll on things too much. If you try and constantly focus on something you did, when you realise the outcome of what you did, you'll never. It will irritate you forever.
It'll eat you
yeah,
up. Yeah,
absolutely,
eat you up inside.
absolutely. And I don't want to be like that when it comes to exams, when it comes to, you know, rejections and all this stuff.
Yeah,
You can't. That's why I thank my dad for toughening up my skin, because I don't think someone who didn't have tough skin wouldn't be able to deal with rejections.
Right.
No.
It would be it's a downbeater.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
The amount of
Yeah,
rejections I've
definitely.
had. You know, I've been working at my job for 8 months,
Yeah.
and in between that time, you get rejected for other opportunities,
Yeah.
and it's like
What sort of a role? What sort of a role are you?
So
in
I was
now?
doing. I've just finished my job actually. I was
Oh, okay.
doing communications, digital marketing, sales, and recruitment for a Jewish charity.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
really, really
right,
good.
That's
Big up
really cool, man.
JLGB.
Yeah.
You know,
That's great scope.
yeah,
There's a
they
lot-
no,
lot-
they
lot of
really,
things.
and you know what, they really sorted my life out in
Yeah.
the last 8 months. I have to
Really?
give so much thanks to them, because I learnt so much about myself.
Yeah.
And they really didn't like me being loud. It was
Yeah.
like a library in there for sure. Like they'd always tell me to shut up, but they meant well. They meant well.
Yeah. that's cool.
You know,
That's a good thing about the Jewish community,
It
though,
is,
isn't it?
it is, man. They're so
very giving.
I have
like,
so much.
From what I hear,
like,
I'm not Jewish, but
no, but
from what I've learned
they're
from
so
movies
they're
and
so
stuff.
great, man. Honestly, you can come to them for anything. Like
Yeah.
even if it's been a long time since you spoke to them about something.
Yeah.
As long as you ask in the right way, you'll always get something from them, even if it's like the least they can do. And you know, I along the way, just kind of you really struggle to carry on when you get that sort of impounding rejection constantly, and it's
Definitely,
like, well,
mate.
and then everyone's like, oh, you'll find your place, something will come. You know, you're always trying to think of a positive outlook towards things, and it's just hard. But you know what? When it comes to preparing for a job interview, it's about the same as studying. So it's like you have to really focus and you have to really make sure you get everything in the know and learn everything. Because I don't always remember the finest details of everything. So I don't feel like I could be a specialist in something unless it was to be like media or like TV or films or some things that I have actually specialist expert in. When it comes to like industry things and things that actually impact the world and that are important, I'm just a fucking dumbass. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Man.
I have
Me
a sick
too.
IQ, I'm sure. I'm really like bright and intelligent. But when it comes to academic or practical thing, I really have to grind down. Like, that's why law was so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I bet that was. It's hard for
hardest
anyone,
3 years of
mate.
my life. Like, I thought, you know, school was hard and everything, and you just flips you over your head. And there was so many people I couldn't have done it without. So there's definitely no way I did that on my own. But, you know, doing it was a great achievement. But, you know, when it comes to applying for the jobs, I also take...
Back to my question.
Yeah, that's I'm
Sweet,
segueing. I'm
sweet,
segueing. I'm
sweet.
segueing.
Nice little segue.
So I, you know, I'm quite a slow person. It takes me a lot of time, more than average, for me to do things with people. I'm trying
to pick up stuff.
anything, picking up things,
Same
preparing
with me,
for the
mate.
day.
I think we all.
Yeah,
we're-
you know, I'm
yeah,
so
like-
slow,
yeah.
and then you have to add into the factor that everyone fucking checks their phones every 5 minutes. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's there's so many things hindering it, but
I think that makes it so much harder these days.
Yeah,
to
for
do
sure.
anything is
For
the
sure.
phone.
for sure.
Mate.
is this the reliance to check to look something up quickly.
Yeah.
Because
Because you're thinking
like a
about
little
a million
tutorial.
things at once.
and
Absolutely.
Well, it's that kind of reliance on quick, easy access that's kind of having an effect on our generation and the generations. So, I mean, that's a complete other topic to cover.
Yeah.
But right now, that I'm just touching on it because I think that definitely kind of supports
No, it's an
that.
impact.
Yeah,
It has an
supports
impact,
that,
absolutely. And because of that slowness, it takes me quite a while to apply to certain jobs, and even with studying, it took me quite a while to do certain projects and learn. And I don't always have to have extensions and extra time in exams. You know, it takes me quite a long time to understand and do things properly.
And some people in industry, mate, are fucking really narrow-minded.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Brutal.
They won't tolerate
really
that.
Not at all.
Not
at all.
Which is really, really bad. Especially more so because I've worked in sales before.
Yeah.
I don't like because it's all very. If you don't have it, then you out the door.
You gotta go.
You know, you got to be but you got to be quick. Because we can't afford to waste time because we need to make money. I don't like that mindset. And that's not just in sales. I think it kind of translates into a lot of kind of just.
You're talking like
in
Canary
industry,
Wharf, Wall Street sort of situations. You know, like
I feel like they don't really have a lot of support because they I don't know if they're just arrogant or they just.
You're in for a purpose.
Yeah.
And if you don't getting onto that fucking
you don't fulfill their criteria, then they're like, well, it's not for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't think it would be right for you.
Back to what you were saying then. So you were saying that basically it can kind of hinder that in a way. And have you lost jobs because of that?
It's tough. I'll tell you what it is. So I used to apply on applications. I used to fill in, do you have a disability? Yes. What is it? Is it any of these? No, it's other. Autistic spectrum disorder. Give a little about it.
Okay.
Learning difficulties, processing information, etc.
Okay.
I'd get the interviews.
Yeah.
On some of them, I'd get the interviews, and I'd address it. And the problem with addressing it is that it looks like it's a hindrance.
Right.
Just the fact that you brought it up.
Just the fact that
And then even if you say, oh, but it has no effect on me, I've beat all the obstacles, you know, I've proved everyone wrong.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
look
blah.
at me in the interview.
Look at me now.
Like
I'm in the
it.
interview. I'm smashing it. I'm confident. I'm talking to you.
the fact that I'm here is
fact
showing
that-
initiative.
The fact that I've done everything I've done in my past,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Look at me. It's
I've
not even
studied
touching
law.
me. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm studying fucking
Trust.
law.
I am the law.
I am the law. I'm the living embodiment of the law. Can't touch me. You know, you can say all of that. Means shit.
They can go.
Means fucking shit.
That's so. I think
sucks.
that's really bad.
sucks.
This day and age, I
it's
think.
disgusting, mate.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I was advised then not to put it on application, not to mention it until the contract is signed.
Really?
But
Really?
I swear there's some sort of discretion issues.
as soon as the
there.
contract,
I don't know that for sure, but I swear that's.
as soon as I
somewhat
put
right.
my signature on the paper, as soon
Yeah.
as their signature's on the paper, I immediately then say, just to let you know, blah 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 blah.
I have
I have a disability, and
Yeah.
they've now signed a contract with me, so they can't just chuck me away
Yeah.
No.
because I've said that. I've left them in a box.
Yeah.
They're
could,
trapped.
You could sue them for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear anyway. I swear you could do that.
Discrimination.
Yeah, law.
Absolutely.
You knew that.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
Discrimination Act. Obviously, they have to sign that they've agreed to this shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once they do that, I then say, oh, by the way, just to let you know, blah, blah, blah,
I've got this. Yeah.
I've got this,
And they're just like,
and you're going to
okay.
have to deal with it.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Mate.
That's tactical.
You know what though?
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely fucked that you have to do that. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I know.
that is embedded in the systems.
Absolutely.
Because every organisation these days is pushing for equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how transparent that equal opportunity is Mate,
I
don't
know.
how you know
I know from.
how can it be what's the word, like kind of observed? How can it be kind of like managed? Do you know what I mean? If they are
There's no way.
abiding by their guidelines
There's
of
no
equal
way.
opportunity.
I
There's
know-
no way, mate.
I know. I don't know if it's for an absolute fact, but I was my mate. I'm not going to say his name. If you know, he works at university.
Okay.
And when I was living in Southampton, when I was moving back to Brighton, I was looking at jobs, and he said that there was something going at where and I was like, oh, this sounds good. And he says if you put a disability, even if you say you have dyslexia or something, a lot of places legally have to give you an interview, or they're not legally, or maybe legally more inclined to give you an interview. It's just to do with like I'm not going to say like census, but like that they at the end they have to fill out
it's like exposure.
Yeah,
like,
they have to fill out a report that they say we gave this amount of certain group of people an interview.
Ticking a box. It's like ticking a box.
I don't know if that's because they're a good company or it's just due to legal reasons that they have to disclose that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think they're all parading it though. I think it's like, oh yeah, we support you. We support it
on paper,
the law,
but
the law,
real life.
the paper.
Yeah.
But come to the interview and we might find some other guy who's better than you, and you're gone.
But at least we gave you the opportunity, and that's what matters. Bollocks.
Bollocks.
Yeah, it is bollocks.
I think that's a load of shit.
Absolutely bollocks. I think there aren't enough chances taken.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think
Mate,
anyone.
for all you could be the best candidate they've ever had.
Literally, like what we were saying earlier, it can be seen as a blessing or a curse.
Yeah.
Like having any kind of disorder, because there's obviously things that you're gonna have to work harder at. But when you get that, mate, I can imagine with yourself. Like, you've obviously worked very hard. Every rapper in the world works very hard. Well, debatable.
Some people it comes naturally, yeah.
And some people you have to work really fucking hard to get it. But when you get it, mate, you can be like, that's it. You've got that skill. You're unbelievable at it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the case?
Yeah, like
if it'd take you a bit longer to get it, but when you got it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes me long, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes I feel like any body of work I do, whether it's music or academia or work in a workplace, it might not be as good or the same as everybody else's, but it is what it is. You just you stride on, you do what you do, and don't let anyone again take anything away from you. You just got to keep going until someone sees you shine. Definitely. It's just about meeting the right person. I forgot what I was going to say now, but it was like no. It's just me running through my thoughts. But every opportunity that I might have had, that I thought I was perfect for, and then they obviously reject me after. It's their loss.
Definitely.
Yeah, like.
Definitely.
Do you think that's due to the fact that you've disclosed that you're
even when I haven't disclosed?
Do you think
I haven't disclosed?
Do you think you genuinely believe that, or do you tell yourself that to move past it? Do you know what I mean? Because
or do you just think
there's so much to take into account?
Like they're worth it. If they're not going to see me for who I am, then they can.
You've also got to be fair to them, and that might just be me being the nice guy, which can be a curse also at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's a situation of where they are going to choose their best candidate by judgment. That's they've got a panel that they're all going to converse and vote on who was the best person, right? That might not be me for reasons of disclosure or none.
Yeah.
But you can't always say that it's bollocks. Yeah. And there's times where I've seen that it hasn't been bollocks, and that the only way to tell is through feedback.
Yeah.
If you get genuine feedback, you can't complain.
No.
You can't complain.
Yeah. I mean, but this is the thing. Have you ever sat there and like, I guess in some interviews there may be a sense where the first thing they want to tackle is, have you got like when you used to put it down, tick the box, the first thing would be them like kind of tackling that, and you feel like they're judging that before they're judging you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, absolutely. No, funnily enough, it doesn't come up on their end much in interviews. I think it used to, majority of the time, only be me bringing it up.
Right.
So no, like they don't kind of glorify or fantasize it. It's, if it comes up, it comes up. Yeah. And it might come up for some reason or it might not. But just depends on the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
But like,
definitely.
no, I don't think that at all.
No,
not at all.
No.
No.
Oh well, that's it's good. It's good that you haven't found that. I mean, like it's just the thing. You like, there's obviously that generalization that employers may get you in and then be like, he's ticked this box. We're just going to tackle that and then kind of rule out the rest. Yeah. It's good that hasn't happened, mate. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And look, I'm just hoping that my time will come. It's like
it will, mate.
Yeah,
you're a confident guy, mate. You're very well spoken.
It's one way or the other.
Yeah, the only way you can do it is just to look up and just not worry about things. Do things in your own pace. Deal with everything you've got to deal with. And, you know, once there's just a personal situations in my life right now that are really taking up my time. And I need to execute that and get it finalised, all done, so that once that's put to rest and it's at peace, I can then move on with my life personally a lot quicker.
Do you think these things, like, obviously you don't have to go into these things at all, mate, but do you think these things which you obviously have, which you need to tackle before you can progress, do you think that's related to the ASD?
No, it's not at all. It's more of a practical situation than that. But it's, you know, I've just got to dedicate.
It's like a milestone, is it? Or?
No, not even. The simplest explanation, I'm just helping my mum out because she had a flood in her house.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's just, we've got to kind of, you know, sort out all of the belongings. We've just got refurbished rooms, like the bathroom and the kitchen, really looking nice. And we've just got to, just got to, spruce it up a bit, make it ready to be, habitable. Yeah. And then we're good to go. Then it's all good. I'm going to live back there for a while.
Oh, cracking.
Yeah, it'll be nice to spend a bit more time with my mum.
Good to hear that.
And that's the priority in my life right now. Yeah. It's just to sort that out and also make music and do everything else I'm doing.
Yeah. I think there's always that, like, in life there's always, like, I hate that term, like, in life, and it sounds so fucking preachy. Yeah. But like, you know, when there's like there's always like obstacles that just always seem to pop up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's like before you can even think about tackling other things, you have to move past that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like a little wall. I mean it's a silly example, but like the last like year and a half kind of thing, I was like scared to get in the gym and lose some weight, so I'd put on quite a bit of weight, and I think it built up so much that is like a little obstacle that when I eventually pushed through that, which was like, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago, I'm now like really, really encouraged, really like happy that I'm back in it. And I feel like that's just like a little example, but you know, when something's there, and when you actually push through that, then you can progress.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean?
No. Everyone has their own goals. Everyone knows what they want to achieve.
Definitely.
And, you know, big or small, whatever picture you're looking at, you've just got to tick the boxes off as much as you can and get things done that you want to do. And you know,
and also I think it's quite good to put it in steps, like not one by one, but like, you know, focus on one thing first, then, you know, once you've progressed on that, move on to the other. Otherwise, if you try and focus on too many things at the same time, trying to juggle it all at once, and it's even if you really want to do it can just stress you out.
Absolutely.
And make trying to achieve that, the process of it in turn, worse.
Demotivates as well.
We've got to start wrapping up today's, by the way. I'd absolutely love to have you back, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many questions that I've
got, man, I was literally just thinking, like, I wanted to get on like another topic of love, because that's such a big big one.
Okay, that's a huge one.
I'll tell you, we'll bring you in for, you know, the autism.
What time are you going home today, mate?
Myth bunking.
I don't know. I think like 5 or something.
We could always have you back on maybe after our next guest is done.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another time. I'm open. I'm easy.
Well, we'll discuss it. But there's
part two.
One. Definitely, mate. I'm 100% keen on that. So one question which I'd like to ask, that we've got like 10 minutes left. So one question which I'd like to ask is, was there any kind of like genetics or in your family of it before? Or?
I don't know how genetic it really is.
Yeah, but I don't know if this is a generic question.
I feel
or not,
like
mate,
no. It's a good question to ask. I feel like my mum and my dad have slight symptoms of it both.
Okay.
But it's too taboo for me to even bring up with my dad.
Is that something you've picked up personally that you've spoken to about that?
Well, like, I don't actively go and tell them, oh yeah, by the way, I see myself in you, and like that. But it's kind of, I notice things, and I'm like, oh, okay, well now that makes sense about who I am.
Fucking, you know, you're yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're living your life.
Yeah.
You can pick up on traits in other people that you live. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. Like, and I know where I get a lot of these things from. And me and my mum, we're probably the most similar because we clash a lot.
Yeah.
And clashing, you know, with your best mate is because you've got too many similarities.
Yeah.
So
me and Jordan are primary examples.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Not so much recently, but we certainly have.
Yeah,
done
but you
in the
have,
past,
and that's the beautiful part of the. That's the beautiful. Oh, everything's
There we go,
falling.
mate. Mike's good.
No, that's the beautiful.
All good, Fred.
That's the beautiful part of a friendship is that you've got good times, bad times, ugly times, everything, you know.
Yeah.
And
Definitely,
that's naturally how it's going to be. So I think, in terms of genetics, something must have come from my parents.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Do you know
Probably
if
will go
anything
to my
further
children.
down the line at all?
No idea.
No.
All I know is that my entire family, on my dad's side and my mum's side as well, we're all just unique individuals. Like we all just have something about us. Like there's no one that I can say in my family who's like boring or has no substance or nothing about them. Everyone's got their own story, and it's really, really kind of interesting. I love my family so much for that. It's like I like no other.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's just great to have a sense of people that I can always go back to, that I know I will always be able to relate to.
Definitely.
Like that's no matter what the situation is, I'll always be able to talk to them about anything or something. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Some of them are older, like my dad, who my aunties and uncles especially, who might not see the world the way the younger people do.
But
But
it's just down to a generational thing.
yeah, but that's it. That's it.
You can't
expect it from
always
everyone.
blame a generation.
No,
a certain
not
opinion.
you never can. You never
Again,
can.
that's a whole.
Grew up in a different time.
Yeah,
you know,
of a
that's
kettle of fish.
That's just what it is. But you know, I think there's definitely I am the embodiment of my parents in many ways. Absolutely.
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
We got to start wrapping up. But mate, you know, I wanna say like, mate, it's been really interesting.
No,
mate.
honestly, absolutely.
I've
pleasure. I'm
learned
glad
a
you
lot
brought me
today.
down.
I've really,
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
enjoyed having you on, mate.
Absolutely.
And you seem like you're in a good place, mate. And you
I'm doing what I can. You know, I'm always trying to be positive and trying to just, you know, not shoot myself down at all, because I know what I'm capable of. I just need to put my mind to it.
Oh, I feel like that should resonate with anyone
And
really.
everyone.
Yeah.
You just got
listening to this.
I'm no different to you. No matter what I am, no matter what I am, no matter what I do, I'm no different. Every life lesson that I need to learn applies to everybody else, you know? And if you want to know more about what I've been saying about it, because I've only ever kind of touched on it once on record, is go and listen to my track ASD off of the Watch Your Back EP.
Ooh.
So on Spotify it's just Aboudy, so Aboudy, isn't it?
On Spotify it's still MC Aboudy,
Still
but
MC Aboudy,
like I said, that's gonna change. I'm just sticking to Aboudy now. It's just a bit of a simpler, easy to digest term.
So where can people like generally find you?
I'm everywhere.
What's your social media?
Social media, I think. Well, if you go to Instagram and I don't know, I don't use Snapchat that much anymore, but if you want to add me,
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, I don't know, mate.
I haven't even got that Snapchat on my phone.
Aboudy 69, Aboudy 69.
Nice.
Do not spell my surname with an I instead of a Y. I will find you and I will kill you. You know, that's the biggest annoyance of my life as well. You know, I'm on there. I'm on SoundCloud, YouTube. Just search my surname, Aboudy. You'll find everything that has to do with me.
And what kind of what sort of is it grime? Is it hip hop?
I've done a bit of everything. I've got grime, bassline, drum and bass, hip hop, everything. Everything I've been on. You know, I like all of that music. So those are the types of things I want to stick with, and I'm open to anything like rock, metal. Bit more soul-y kind of tunes. I'm trying to rework my singing so that I can branch out a bit more. You know, man, it's nice. It's like I know where I need to be now, and I've had some great times, you know, especially with bassline and drum and bass. Like I've had really, really good times. I'll always have love for the music. But you know, I think I'm not that typical drum and bass MC.
Okay.
You know? That's what everyone sees me as at the moment.
Okay.
And I don't get me wrong, I always want to participate in drum and bass related things. You know, shout out Pick and Mix as well. Big up TJ and the crew, obviously, and Maria, Jake, and Joe. And you know, it's crazy. Like I wanna be involved in everything, like, in all the little parts that I can. And it's just, you know, hip hop's definitely my avenue, just because everyone grows up with it in a way, but it's also like I've got so much flavour to add for that.
Yeah, man.
But you know, that's where you can find me.
Cool.
And yeah.
All right.
That's it.
All right, mate.
Yeah,
like I said earlier, I've really, really enjoyed having
absolutely,
you on,
boys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
More than welcome to come back
we're
again.
100% have
Part
to do a part 2, mate.
incoming.
I've got some serious questions that I'd like to get down
absolutely.
Let's go deeper.
But yeah, make sure you're checking out Aboudy.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Blended Views. With myself and Fred as hosts today.
Yeah, tune in next time for part 2 when this will happen soon.
Yeah,
and
hopefully soon.
Yeah, and have a good rest of your day. Have a good life, and
have a good
peace.
Life.
Peace out.
Have a good life. What the?
Have a good life. So you're wishing them death.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.